Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to Purposes Crossed, where I hope that people who are called by Jesus for different purposes cross paths and exchange ideas. In this video, we continue with our series of devotions on the Psalms, and today we will deal with Psalm 16. This psalm contains the oft quoted verse, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance." The superscription identifies this as a Psalm of David, and I wonder at what stage of his life David wrote these wonderful words, for he faced different situations throughout his checkered life. Did he write this while tending Jesse's flocks and protecting them from the predators, while being ignored as an insignificant member of the family due to the birth order and stature? Or was it after he had faced Goliath and struck him down to deliver the Israelites from the Philistines? Or was it when he entered into the service of King Saul and enjoyed a period of favor where he feasted at the king's table? Or was it when he found a true friend in the king's son, Jonathan, with whom he forged a pact stronger than death? Was it when he heard the Israelites sing about his victories in battle? Or was it when Saul turned against him and persecuted him in a fit of demonic rage? Since we do not know the circumstances surrounding the composition of the psalm, we cannot insist on a background, but at the same time, we cannot eliminate any set of circumstances either. When he wrote to the Christians at Philippi, Paul was in prison facing his imminent death. Yet he wrote to them, "I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation." Could it be that David too, centuries before Paul, was able to say, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places," even though he was facing some difficult challenge at the time? You see, when things are going well for us, it is very easy to say that God has looked upon us in favor and has blessed us. But when the chips are down, with what confidence can we declare that God has blessed us? In case that we think David wrote this when things were sunny for him, we need but read the opening plea of the psalm. David opens with the words, "Keep me safe, my God, for in you I take refuge." Only a person facing a difficult situation would pray in such a manner. And it is sobering and challenging to think that David, at a time when he needed God's help, also declared, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places." The intensity of David's faith in God and the strength of his dependence on God shines through when he says, "You are my Lord. Apart from you, I have no good thing." God is the only source of good that David recognized, even during a time when things looked quite bleak. And when he says, "You will not abandon me to the realm of the dead, nor will you let your faithful one see decay," we realize the situation he was facing was not just some minor setback, but something that was probably life-threatening. This is the truest test of faith, contrary to the claims of those of the abominable Word of Faith movement. Those in that abominable Word of Faith movement promote a view that, if it were true, would simply be a manipulation of God to satisfy our selfish desires. According to that view, God only exists to provide us with health and wealth. There is no real relationship because relationships can only become deeper and stronger and more meaningful if there are times of testing, times when, despite the circumstances, despite any dire circumstances, we are able to say along with David, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places." My plea to anyone who sees this video is, please do not allow yourself to be duped and misled by the false teachers who promote a name it and claim it approach to faith. Avoid them like the plague because they are only concerned about their short-term gains and not about your long-term blessing. They preach a false gospel which is no gospel because it does not give God any space to transform you into the image of His Son. And if any doctrine prevents your transformation to become like Jesus, it is a false and satanic doctrine. Instead, if you have reached rock bottom, sing with David, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places," and "You will not abandon me to the realm of the dead, nor will you let your faithful one see decay." For if David could sing those words before the unveiling of God's salvific plan in Jesus, then certainly those of us who have heard of that plan and trusted the mediator of that plan can join David and sing along with him, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places."